Hello, everybody, and welcome to Becoming Invincible podcast. I am your host, Talia, and I am so excited to have you here. This podcast is to reframe your mindset, challenge those limiting beliefs that you may have when you're navigating all the situations in your life. And I'm here to give you tools to help you navigate them in such a healthy way and to harness your personal power that we tend to lose along the way. So settle up, get ready, grab a coffee, and get ready for some juice in each episode as I throw you what life has thrown me and we can navigate this shit together. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode, and I really appreciate you all listening far and wide. I definitely see the podcast growing, which is incredible. I have noticed that you guys like more episodes on seeking validation outside of yourself and overthinking, anything to do with self-love, I've noticed, or with different communication as well, which is pretty cool. This episode is about accepting yourself, really loving yourself, because we all fluctuate with this in our life, and we all have grown up so differently. We've experienced life also differently. There is some sort of a correlation. Now, what do I mean by this is that majority of people have been a people pleaser to some extent in their life, right? We've all pleased our way in some way. Some of us more than others, but we have all generally had the same relevance. We do lose sight of loving ourselves and really accepting ourselves. And then when we go into relationships or a friendship, and that's all about acceptance as well, sometimes we can't allow the other person to accept us because we see fault in ourselves, or like whoever that is, like a friend even. It's like, oh, how could they actually love me as a friend or really support me or have my back because I don't have my own? It's really such a big thing, and we fluctuate throughout our life with this. It's something that I have as well, and I always constantly work on it. For us as women in general, when we look at ourselves in the mirror, there's always something that we have to pick apart, at least one thing. Women are very multifaceted, right? Where we are so governed essentially on a cycle, and we have different hormone levels at each part of our cycle, right? It's really interesting, and it's never an excuse, because I don't ever want people to use that as an excuse. Like, oh, I'm a man, so I'm only going to get it from this point of view. See you in that, 100%. But it doesn't mean that you cannot learn how to understand a woman or understand other people. Like, that's very ego. I totally get that. It's kind of no excuse to not try to understand what I'm trying to communicate to you. That's a lot of women's frustration. And for us as women, I would never want anyone to be like, well, I'm a woman, and like at this part of my cycle, I'm going to be like this. To a certain extent, of course, there's actually a big part that plays in that with hormone levels and things like that. But us as women, knowing that we have a cycle, we've had it since we were like generally between the age of 10 and 14. And so it's up to us to eat efficient foods. Like, there's certain foods that we should actually be eating at certain parts of our cycle to actually help with our hormone balances and our bodies, and with sleep and water and so many things. It can really help on how we feel, because everything is a mental game at the end of the day. We all have lived such a different life, and we all have different beliefs of how we view ourselves and different beliefs on how we perceive the world and all those sort of things, right? It's about not allowing our emotions to control us and not allowing our mind to control us, because once we have a handle of our mind and to understand that, okay, I do this is something I do, or this is what's sort of happening right now, okay, or I need more of this in my body, so I'm going to eat more of like broccoli or something, because broccoli is actually really important for us, especially when we're on our bleed in our cycle, to actually eat. We've got to own the fact that we have a cycle and to act accordingly with it. But then also for our partners and our friends to understand that this is where I'm at, this is what I'm feeling. A lot of emotion will be heightened in certain times. So that goes along with the fact on how we view ourselves too, because we're always going to fluctuate on how we view ourselves, I believe, because I've definitely felt that way in myself. At the moment, I'm actually very blessed. I've done a lot of rewiring again with my beliefs and my neural pathways, because I was becoming a little bit negative there. that I've done a lot of work on myself so far, that I am default to gratitude and I hadn't been, and I didn't like that. So I've been wiring things because, not all the time, but like we get through certain parts of our life that's like, oh, I need to rewire again. I'm believing something different than what I should be. So I believe that this is all sort of necessary. It's not like, okay, I've got to do this like forever and ever and ever. It's about, okay, right now at this phase in my life, I need to rewire my brain. I need to speak more affirmation, whatever it is. It's going to be different for everyone, but I'm not here to teach on that today. So for me though, lately I have been rewiring my brain and to believe different beliefs and to dissolve the ones that I have been letting run the show, because subconsciously we have no idea what's running the show until we actually deep dive in it. But consciously it's like, oh no, but I'm doing that for a certain reason, when really we can be doing it for a completely different reason. So I've actually given a bit of an example. So clearly for people who listen to my podcast do have somewhat of an open mind here. So I have been doing a lot of money work. Now, I'm not here to explain money work or anything like that, but it's not just about like budgeting your money and things like that. There's actually a little bit of energetics behind money. We won't go too into it. So I've actually been in a container at the moment to help rewire beliefs and to manage my money better energetically as well. So with that, I've actually in turn have experienced more when I look at myself in the mirror, actually really loving who I am and for me and the person I see in the mirror. So when we're doing this money work, I cracked open like a bit of a breakthrough that consciously is what we think all the time and what we know is there in our brain. I was like, I deserve to spend money on this and I'm worthy of that. When subconsciously I don't feel safe to hold money, so I'll spend it. I was going through a period there where I was spending too much and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And it's because I don't feel safe to hold my money. Instead of it being like, consciously it looked like, oh my God, I love money. Like, yes, like I'll spend money, love money. When really subconsciously, which is what we don't know is running the show, is that I didn't feel safe to hold money. Now, there's obviously work on how we can understand what's happening there, right? And that's for a different episode. Anyway, so just wanted to clarify with that. But also, when you work on one part of your life, for me, I've been working on money work lately, that it literally is going to rewire every part of your life. So if you work on one part of your life, it will filter through all the other parts of your life, right? So with rewiring my brain, I've actually come back to my default for more gratitude. And for the person who I see in the mirror, I really love. There's nothing wrong with me. It's hard for us to believe that sometimes because we get told or sold a different story. We've all experienced different life with people saying things to us and we take that on board. And I think it's really okay just to understand that. So speaking to like a woman's point of view, because for men, you guys are very singular focused. And as my partner says to me, he's like, we try to take the easiest option with the less effort. That kind of signals to me that, okay, so you guys are a little bit more lazy because you just don't want to try as hard kind of thing, right? Whereas women will kind of go above and beyond. So it's actually really interesting. That's his point of view. Doesn't mean that's all men. So like a man's bed, how to actually put this in like an example. A man's bed, it's going to be basically a sheet, his like covers, and he'll have probably 4 pillows maximum on his bed. Whereas a woman's bed is like a fully made bed, and then the pillows, like the 4 pillows plus 3 pillows, because we like beautiful things, right? That's pretty much kind of a visualization of like a man and a woman, right? And so sometimes we'll go through periods in our life where we'll open up our wardrobe and it's like, I don't even know what to wear today. And our partner will just be like, are you kidding? You have like a full-on wardrobe of clothes, just pick anything. Whereas when we say that, I have nothing to wear today, we're actually saying that there's nothing that I feel in my wardrobe right now that's going to make me feel alive or beautiful or whatever it is that we're needing to feel. There's nothing in here that is jumping out of me that I'm going to feel great about. It's so interesting because we're so different. What I was saying about our cycle earlier was that we like different stuff at different parts of our cycle and we've got to normalize that. I think there's a lot of too much diagnose of things happening in the world right now. Like I am undiagnosed ADHD or I am actually autistic or something, or I actually have this wrong with me. When it's like, can we just sort of stop for a minute and go, is there actually something wrong here? Or is it the fact of I'm just embracing the fact that I'm a woman and I like a lot of things? We don't need to sort of put ourselves into boxes society likes us to do, where I'm going to put myself into this box. I am a woman who loves this music only. I'm a woman who loves this only. Because for myself, I fluctuate all the time. I'm someone who listens to various music. Like I will literally go from, I don't even know what you'd call it. It's like so many different genres, but I guess I like pop music, but sometimes when they put like a bit of house to it and like a different frequency to it, it's like a vibe. And then I will switch to like band music like Blink 182 or Sum 41. Then it's like I'll switch and I'll go to Aussie hip hop, and that will be like Hilltop Hoods and the Fundamentals and things like that. So there's never actually one set music that I listen to. I listen to so many that when people go, oh, what's your favorite song? I actually don't just have one, I have many, because I don't just like a certain type of music. I like so many different kinds. That's why it's so hard for me. The only thing I could literally be so on point with saying to people is my favorite color and my favorite animal. I have multiple different favorite movies for different genres, right? And I think it's about allowing ourselves to accept that, oh, hey, I'm a woman and I'm multifaceted and I like different things, because it then will flow into, I'll touch on this a little bit, where I guess the social media realm as well, because it seems to be very, what's the word? It seems very fashionable at the moment to talk on like feminine energy or like masculine energy. It's so interesting when I hear people talk about it in different things. I like hearing people's different point of views. I'm such a Libra. When I hear people talk about different feminine stuff, I've never really resonated with one thing. So I haven't really done an episode on like, okay, so how we can get back into our feminine, because it's not one size fits all. We're so different and we all like different stuff, and most of us like multiple different things, but we don't allow ourselves to like multiple different things because I'm too picky, or for whatever belief system. It's like if we really could have no limit and pick anything, we would have multiple different houses at different locations, because sometimes we like that farm style vibe, but sometimes we love living by the beach or living in the city or something, or like living completely remote. We are so different. And also, I feel like this is pretty much how women are. Like, I think we're all kind of on par with this in one way or another. I think we can all get something from this episode. I think it's just allowing yourself that, like, do you have to have a diagnosation, or can we just stop for a minute and be like, I'm a woman and I'm allowed to love multiple different things? It's kind of like dressing, when we wear clothes. Some people will just be like, yeah, I am completely just a gym person and I will only wear gym gear all day, every day. Totally love that for them. Some people literally fluctuate between gym gear and then relaxed. So we fluctuate because of how we're feeling. Most of us generally dress on how we're feeling for the day, right? It's pretty much how it is. Sometimes when I'm like, okay, I am going to have a makeup free day today, so I am more likely to dress really chilled because that's how I'm going, right? And I put a messy bun or whatever. I think we just need to start to normalize that in ourselves and be like, yeah, that's what I like. Or I'm multifaceted. I like so many different things. I'm going to go for this today. Because sometimes I do have like no makeup on and I'll wear something a bit more nicer as well. So it really depends, right? But we generally dress for our mood or one way or another, and whether we're meaning to or not as well. So yeah, I just wanted to sort of do this episode on like, there's nothing wrong with you, and we can like multiple different things. And when people talk about feminine and being like, oh yeah, the way to be feminine is like wear a pretty pink or frilly dress. No, that is not how to be feminine at all. Feminine is a frequency, it's an energy. It doesn't actually matter what you actually look like. It's all about how you carry yourself. That's actual feminine energy. Yeah, I love like wearing pretty dresses and pretty play suits and things like that. Dressing up really pretty. For sure, I'm that girl. But then also I can feel just as feminine in like bike shorts and an oversized tee and like jamming out. Like I can also feel that way too. So it's really just doing things that help you feel relaxed in you is honestly like the best way. What's going to make you feel less stressed, or it's going to make you feel like, oh, I feel so pretty for the day. Like me as well, sometimes it doesn't even matter what I'm wearing. I have a ring that I wear and it's a dress ring. And I get it all the time when I like wear it and I'm talking on my stories or something. People are like, oh my God, are you engaged? No, no. It's on my other hand, but I wear it sometimes because on those days I feel like, oh, I just need to be reminded of more of a feminine feeling, or like to feel beautiful or things like that. I know it's like you don't need a ring to do that, obviously, but it's what makes me feel in my pretty feminine essence, I guess, because for me as a single mom, I'm always in masculine, always. And it really doesn't serve us as a woman to be constant in our masculine. Like it's always doing, you're always chasing after the kids, you're always looking after the kids. I feel so exhausted all the time. I like said to myself, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be a single mom anymore. Like obviously none of us ever want to be that, but I don't want to do it because it's hard on your own all the time. Now, I'm fully aware that there is this thing on some relationships where you are a married single mom, and I feel like that's really sad. I believe that with more communication and understanding, I believe that could change. So I'm very well aware that there's obviously it's like people probably listening to this and be like, Tali, you don't have to just be single to feel that. Like I am married or something and I feel that. Of course, life is life, right? But for me, I just feel so in my masculine all the time and really tired because the girls don't go to their dads so I could have like a night off or like 2 nights off or something. Like sometimes I always think of that and I'm like, oh my God, that would actually be so nice. But I actually don't want that to happen because I don't actually know who their dad actually is. So I don't want that. But it's like, because that doesn't happen, they're with me constantly. It does get exhausting. It does get really like, oh my God, I just need a break because you have to be on all the time. And then if you have bad nights, there you go. Like, and I know that as a married mum as well, we can all feel that way for sure. I just mean like, obviously I'm trying to like help everyone understand, but from my point of view, I guess, where that's how I feel. Like I feel like mothering is such masculine that I try and do all the things to put myself back in my feminine, right? Because that's how our partners and our friends want us to be in, because we're more fun to be around when we're in our feminine, letting our hair down. So for me to get myself, if it's going to help somebody, because again, I don't like to really share because we're all so different, but if it is going to help you guys, that for me, it's dancing. There is something about dance that I can't explain to you. Honestly, it's the way you just move your body. Right. It doesn't even have to be dance. Like you can go for a run, a walk. You can even just do some stretching. Sometimes we just need to move our body and it just helps like the energy in us just move around and doesn't feel so stagnant. And when I dance to certain songs or whatever I'm feeling, it actually really helps for the girls when they are having tantrums, and it actually puts everyone in a good feeling. So that's also why I do it. We've been having dance parties since our babies, honestly. And it just really helps me feel a little bit more alive, like freer and happier. I love painting my own nails. It makes me feel so pretty. I did something for myself, or doing a face mask, or going to get a massage, or running myself a hot bath. Even soaking in a bath just makes me feel so good as well. So I try to do certain things to help me just feel relaxed, because I don't have anyone who I like obviously live with, because we all know I have a partner in that, but we don't live together. I don't have him here living with me to help me relax. I do find for us as women, it is hard for us to relax. And also, we don't need to rely on someone to help us feel safe all the time. We can definitely find safety in ourselves, where it really depends. So for me, if I feel really anxious, I will do some tapping. And so it's where you tap on the certain points of you to help you feel calm and relaxed. And it actually really helps, because when you're tapping your body, you're calming your nervous system down. There's so much on that, which this is not the episode for it. I'm pretty sure I've done an episode on this or mentioned it, but our body, like our brain and our body are from back in the time when it was like caveman days, and it's not actually evolved like we have, where obviously we're not getting chased by tigers and bears all the time. Whereas when we go into our fight or flight mode, that's what that's activating, to be like, oh my God, you need extra adrenaline to run away from that tiger trying to get you, right? We don't live in a society like that anymore. So when we do go into like a fight or flight response, or like, I wouldn't say freeze, but it can be freeze because you can feel quite panicked in freeze mode. And same with fawn. So there's actually like four, which I will actually do an episode on what they are, what they all mean, because we all drop into them. Anyway, that actually really helps me so much. I really like tapping. I am pro meditation and all sorts of meditations, but I don't really use a meditation to go to calm myself, because it just doesn't work for me. I need to like tap. I need to rub my body. And even sometimes, like when we're in our feels, you can even like roll yourself up really tight in your doona. You know how sometimes when we're actually starting our bleed and we just want to hermit for a while, you can literally just like get a weighted blanket or roll yourself up in like your doona just really tightly. And that can actually make you feel safe because you're wrapped right up, because all you want to do is feel held. So those are sort of things that we can do to help ourselves feel safe and not relying on other people. Because I really believe that, of course, like our partners can, when we're with the right person, they can actually calm us, like, just by their touch, right? And it's like, oh, I feel so safe. And like our brain shuts down and we're actually literally not thinking about anything. But we can also recreate that when we're not with our partners, or not to rely on them so much, because that's when we get too codependent. That's like a whole thing too. So anyways, that went on like a little tangent there, but understanding, and I think always thinking of who did you used to be and who are you now? Because I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, you'll actually be so proud of the person you are. But this is the thing, we don't tell ourselves how proud we are. We don't tell ourselves how incredible and like amazing job we're doing. We always want to seek that from other people, right? Me included. Okay, I'm not disregarding me. I think the more we can really understand that everything comes from within us, we don't need other people to feel safe, or we don't need other people to tell us that we're amazing. We know that we're amazing. And obviously, there's just so much work like that we can do around tapping into our beliefs and things like that. There's only so much I can really speak on that stuff on like my podcast. I just think looking at yourself in the mirror and being like, I am fucking amazing. Even doing that Mel Robbins high five habit. If anyone has never heard that, every morning when you wake up and before you go to bed, because those are the two really important parts of our day. A quick little thing. So the best times to like rewire your brain, where you listen to a night meditation or a morning one or whatever, or a positive motivational talk in the morning or whatever, is actually like right when you wake up or right before you're falling asleep, because that's when you're at your most vulnerable and the most that your subconscious is listening. And it's called theta. And you're more going to rewire and soak in that stuff at that point in time. Anyway, just for a little background there. So you basically go up to the mirror, and when you wake up or before you go to bed, and you high five, because we associate high five as positive, right? From when we're little, it's like, oh my God, high five. Yes, you did that, So we associate high five as a positive. So when you're high-fiving yourself in the mirror, you're affirming to yourself, like, yeah, I'm amazing, high five. And it will feel weird at first, like everything does. But the more consistency and over time you do it, you're going to feel like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, yeah, high five to me. And that's how, because you're associating a positive to you, you're then going to start seeing yourself so differently and really loving yourself. And you will see a lot of results. I did that for when I first started to do self-love stuff, like where I wanted to really love myself more. And I started just high fiving, and it really helps. And so, whereas like now I do other things that are different, but if you guys are sort of new, like high fiving will definitely help you. You're going to feel like a bit of an idiot, but hey, no one's actually going to watch you do it unless if it's you. So you don't have to worry about like feeling like a fool because no one's in your bathroom with you or in your room. Just wanted to do this episode just to remind you guys that you are the golden ticket in life. You are the amazing, beautiful queen. And I think we seek too much outside, and it's almost because we don't know how, or we just don't feel worthy. There's like so many things that it could be. And it's okay to just not have it all together all the time. Doesn't make you any less. And it's okay to like multiple things. It doesn't mean that you're undiagnosed with some disorder or there's something wrong with you. You're a woman, we're multifaceted, and it's okay to like a bunch of different stuff. Like I said, I don't have a favorite song I could ever tell people, oh yeah, this is my favorite song. It's about accepting that part of you. And I just think as well, you don't need to shun certain parts of yourself away just to make other people happy. I would never do something to me to make myself seem or feel worthy for someone else. And I just think that's so important that we just don't do that. We start to really see us for who we are and actually love on ourselves. I feel like those of us that have had children, if your body changes or, you know, we all fluctuate with weight and things like that. So if that's happened in our life, that you can still look at yourself and be like, wow, if you're a mom, you created life from your body. And I know it's really hard and it's easier said than done to say that about our body and that, but it's so true though. And I think we're so wired to shame ourselves and all those sort of things for our body when really it's okay to just have it be how it is, as long as you love yourself and you're doing the things that align with you to make you feel good. I really feel like that's what's most important, because everyone will just say a bunch of stuff to you in your life. And yes, sometimes it's easier said than done. We're going to take things on for sure, 100%. But it's just always reminding ourselves that I'm amazing and I've been through this and look how far I've come. You know, because I think when we're our own biggest supporter, I really feel like it will help us just keep moving forward in life, because then you're not waiting for other people to be proud of you. Because that's something that I have done for a long time. And it's not until recently I've really, like, you know what? I am my biggest supporter, because what I do is very foreign to a lot of people and people don't get it. And they make up their own projection of why I do things, and I have just seeked so much friends and things like that where I'm like, oh, are they proud of me? And do they approve of what I'm doing or whatever? And it's like, hang on, it doesn't matter. As long as it makes sense to you and you're doing everything in alignment for you and your values and your boundaries, then it doesn't matter. Love yourself. You are an incredible person. There was a quote that I actually seen recently, which I will share quickly in here, is that if you want to be exceptional, you've got to be okay to be the exception. Love that quote. Anyway, guys, I'll talk to you guys on a lovely another episode. I hope you're having a beautiful day. And hopefully this makes sense. But I just really wanted to just remind you guys and talk about different things. And hopefully you guys have taken something away from this episode. But you are the most qualified person to do your life and make decisions and handle everything. And you have to just always remind yourself of that.